Hi, I'm Jack, Marketing Manager at Horizon Hobby. I'm here with Seth Arnold, a product developer at Horizon Hobby, and he's the product developer of this product, the E-Flite Rare Bear. To get us started talking about the product, Seth, why don't you tell us a little bit about the trim scheme?
Yeah, so the trim scheme on this airplane is actually the 2014 Reno race scheme that Lewis Air Legends used on their full-scale Rare Bear. We actually have an agreement with them that allows us to do a model of their full-scale airplane, which is pretty cool, but it's exactly like the full-scale airplane.
So in 2014, Lewis Air Legends sort of has a reputation of changing their trim schemes over the years, from the 70s, where mostly a base white airplane, to now, which is lots of colors and some changes even from 2013. Being able to do the 2014 trim scheme basically means it's the only one that has the most accurate trim scheme, at least for this year.
Right, that is absolutely correct. It's pretty cool. They sent us a few photos, and we did a little bit of work with them to make sure everything was as accurate as we can make it.
That's pretty cool. So one of the questions that I know we get asked at a lot of the events and shows that we go to, people will point out an airplane that looks fast and they will say, well, okay, just how fast does it really go? So, but based on all of the product testing that you've done, how comfortable are you saying how fast this airplane goes? We're
pretty comfortable. I know in all like the box art and the product video and stuff, if you guys take a look at the product video, you'll see the speed, the exact speed we actually reach there. But what we're saying is basically an average upwind, downwind of 100 miles an hour. Which for this size airplane is very, very fast. It's a total thrill to be flying an airplane that fast.
That's pretty awesome, but just for all the naysayers out there who might think you might have had a 16-mile-an-hour tailwind or something like that on that downwind pass that's in the video, what were the weather conditions like?
It's actually kind of funny you mentioned that. It's hard to see in the video. You can kind of see it's a little gloomy and there's some snow on the ground, but actually while we were flying in pretty heavy snow. So obviously snow hitting the wings and everything else is a little bit of drag and slows the airplane down a little bit. But it wasn't the greatest conditions to be doing it in, but we still managed to get 97 miles an hour upwind and 104 downwind for an average of 100.5.
Do you have an estimate on about what the winds were like that day?
It was about 2 to 3 miles an hour, roughly.
Okay.
Was the estimate right before we flew that flight. So, like I said, about an average speed of 100.5. So
that's pretty impressive. So, with the recommended battery,
yep,
somebody really should be able to hit those speeds that we claim with
absolutely.
no trouble.
And the really cool thing too is that's not in a dive. That's in level flight. So if you dive it goes faster.
Oh, so. Wow. That is really cool. So let's talk a little bit about the electronics. We recommend a battery. What's the battery that we recommend?
Sure. Actually, I'll pull the hatch off here and show everybody. But the battery we recommend is a 3300 milliamp 4-cell 50C battery. I'll hold it up here so that the camera can get a good view of it. That's the battery we recommend. Works great. Gives you about a 4-minute flight time, depending on how much you are on the throttle. Overall, great performance as far as speed goes, but a decent amount of flight time as well.
I'll tell you what, while you have this up here, why don't we show the receiver here. This is, what's the receiver that you put in here?
The receiver that comes in the Bind and Fly Basic is an AR636A. It is fully programmable by the customer whenever they get it out of the box, so they don't have to worry about it being locked or anything like that. They just got to hook up their phone via the iOS app or Android app and reprogram it. So if they want to turn AS3X off, they can. If they want to leave it on, change the dual rates, expo, all that, they can do that in the receiver.
And for folks that might have a collection of receivers at home, this is available. Is it plug and play as well?
Yep, absolutely. So if you're a guy that doesn't fly necessarily Spectrum, or if you got just a Spectrum receiver laying around in your drawer somewhere, you can throw that in there and everything will work great.
So we know that, especially at high speeds, turbulence can cause a lot of problems. You have to be pretty quick on the sticks to react, and so for folks that maybe haven't flown something this fast, AS3X is a pretty huge help, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So for folks that maybe are more accomplished pilots and they have a non-AS3X receiver at home, are they going to have any trouble with the airplane? How does the airplane fly without AS3X?
Without AS3X, the airplane's still a very friendly airplane. Obviously, at higher speeds, it's you got to be very on top of your game when you're flying closer to the ground and things, because things happen 3 times, 4 times as fast. But it's still a very friendly airplane. So if you don't have AS3X, it's not a deal breaker. You can still fly the airplane, but it definitely flies better with it.
Awesome. So some of the things that you had to do to get it to that speed. Talk about maybe some things that you did to help keep the weight down and keep the performance where we were sort of expecting it to be.
One of the things that even the full-scale airplane did is they removed the flaps on the full-scale airplane just to save some weight. On this airplane, it's basically belly land only, so there's no landing gear, no flaps. Basically, just a simplistic airplane to help get the speed as fast as we can go. The lightweight really helps with the speed, but it also helps with how friendly the airplane flies too. But the simplicity of the airplane is what really helps the speed.
That's really awesome, and I know there's going to be a lot of pilots that kind of would really like to take a crack at something this fast. So what kind of pilot, what sort of experience, what sort of skill level would you recommend somebody have before they try to tackle something?
I would say somebody that definitely has a good amount of 4-channel experience. I would say probably the intermediate to advanced pilot. Intermediate, if you've got a pretty good amount of experience with a lot of Parkinson warbirds and stuff and aren't having any issues with those, you'll probably be okay flying this. But the really cool thing about it is how friendly the airplane is. While it's fast and friendly at high speeds, it's also still slows down very well and is very friendly at slow speeds too. So you don't have to worry about it, tip stalling at lower speeds. You don't have to worry about it, flicking or doing anything a little odd or funny. It's a really friendly airplane.
That's awesome. That's really good. Anything else you want to tell folks before we sign off here?
Go and buy one. It's awesome.
Awesome. Okay, well, we've got threw out a lot of information. A lot of the features and specifications are available on E-Flite's website. So if you want to see the product video that we talked about, where you can actually see the radar gun as we clock this airplane on its downwind pass, you can go and check that out, and all the features and specifications on the receiver and the battery are there as well. So thanks a lot for watching.
Thanks, guys.